If you like playing Enshrouded, but you feel like you kind of run out of content, well then I got good news for you. Keen Games just dropped a huge update called the Hollow Halls. There is now a unique dungeon for every biome, so 4 of them, and I managed to clear the first 2 and they are not small. And with the new dungeons, new enemies, new materials, new weapons, new craftables. And spoiler alert, although I don't think it's that much of a spoiler since it was mentioned in the trailer for the update, a new NPC with new questline and new crafting stations. But you also get quite a lot of new craftables right away when you log into the game, without even setting a foot inside of the dungeons. On top of that, performance fixes, bug fixes, most likely a few new bugs as well, UI improvements and much more. In this video I will cover the new content in the update, both the stuff that was mentioned in the patch note and then some stuff that was not, but is kind of useful to know regardless. Let's start with the stuff you get right away when you log into the game that is not really heavy on spoilers, so if you want to experience the new dungeons for yourself you can just watch kind of the first half of this video. Let's start with the craftables, and you can now craft flower pots in the game. Well, you could make flower pots before by kind of combining stuff in smart ways, but now you can craft them. You craft the pots in the kiln using wood and clay, and then you craft the flower pots at the farmer. You can actually put the pots directly down as well, not just when you made them as a crafting material. So there are items as well, and that means these are probably great to do stuff that are not intended to do with them, like build other stuff with them. Oh, there's a goat in here. Hi goat. Bye goat. But we also got a few small trinkets from different NPCs that we can use to decorate with, and of course behind the flowers, this new material called warm white luminescent block. There's also this big iron gate that can be useful if you want to build something that looks like a castle, and this bed that I'm quite sure I've seen out in the world, just that we couldn't craft it before. But more importantly, new round windows and doors that you craft at the carpenter. Well, the most basic ones you can craft at the crafting bench, but most of them are crafted at the carpenter. Especially this green one looks really lovely. It means I have to make kind of a hobbit house now on my channel, so that's a future let's build, I guess. I'm also very confident that there are a lot of use cases for these windows other than being windows that me and others will discover over time. Railing for a balcony is the obvious one, but there are sure to be a huge amount of not as obvious use cases. Moving on from the craftables to something else you can, well, craft, food. There is some new food at the farmer, but I'm not sure this qualifies as new content because I'm quite sure you were supposed to be able to craft this before but just couldn't, so this is more like a bug fix. Something else that is a bug fix and a welcome one is that you can now cook at all of the fireplaces and all of them give warmth, just not the basic one. There is also a bunch of new stuff in the seed bed. We can now plant every single type of tree, including the yucca palm, the one from the desert area, the last biome that gives the yucca fruit that is really good for stamina regen. The patch notes lists a huge number of changes, everything from quality of life improvements, technical improvements and stability, like higher frame rates are better supported now, a lot of changes to gameplay, and I won't be able to kind of read all of them. It's better if you actually read the patch notes if you're interested. But one thing not mentioned in the patch notes are changes to some of the current items in the game, and most notably the Ring of Rapacity. This one was huge for mana regeneration for every type of mage build. It was so good that it rendered pretty much all the skills buffing spirit, all the food buffing spirit and mana regeneration pretty much useless. So they kind of had to change it. But this means we have to look for a new best in slot for mage builds. It is now time to talk about the stuff you don't get access to right away. The stuff you get through the new dungeons. So very big spoiler alert, if you want to discover that for yourself, it is time to stop watching now. The Alchemist will give you a quest that leads to the first dungeon that is located in the left-hand side corner of the starting area. Inside of the dungeons, in some areas, there are a lot of enemies. You're kind of meant to do these dungeons in a group and not alone. I did this solo, but on a max level character. Like in the starting level dungeon, the enemies are around level 10. But if I had been level appropriate around level 10, I think I would have had some serious problems in some areas of the dungeons doing this alone. Inside of the dungeon, you also find new weapons, new lore, and new crafting materials like red marble and ectoplasm fragments that can later be used for crafting. And towards the end of the first dungeon, and well, spoiler alert, well, this whole segment is just full of spoilers. So anyway, towards the end of the first dungeon, there is no boss, instead you find the new NPC. When you place the new NPC, you get a bit of dialogue, you get new quests leading you to the next dungeon, but also you get to craft even more new stuff. So in this update, there are even more new items you can craft than the ones you get, well, at the start, using the materials you looted in the dungeon. So let's take a look at those. We get another new material, the Hollow Halls block. I think it's really nice looking with the red color there. That we use the red marble for, of course. But also the new furniture we can craft with the new NPC, and all of those got a really sinister look to it. I guess if you are going to make kind of a necromancer castle, these are the stuff for you. And the green flames here in the candles and the torches and stuff like that. And these are not even all the stuff you can make, because first of all, I didn't have material to make all the stuff I could craft, but also as you progress through the dungeons, you unlock upgrades to the crafting station, just like you did for the other NPCs, unlocking even more stuff.
Don't be scared.
But getting that upgrade station is not as easy as getting the NPC, because at the end of the second dungeon, unlike the first dungeon, there is a boss. This boss didn't hurt that much, but I was also seriously over leveled doing the second dungeon, so if you play this solo and you are appropriate level, I bet this boss will hurt a lot. I cannot really show more than this now because I have yet to finish the last two dungeons, and playing solo, I bet the last one will be pretty hard to finish. Hope you liked this short coverage of the new content in Enshrouded. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Also, since I'm not really used to make this type of content, I mostly do building guides. Any type of feedback on how to improve this type of coverage for Enshrouded and in the future other games are always helpful. In that case, write it in the comment section below. You might of course also consider subscribing if you like my videos and want to see more videos I make in the future. That's always nice with more subscribers, right? So anyway, I think that was all. Cheers!